Hello, this is Dr. Seema Aiden, and today I'll be talking about uh, my program that I use, semaglutide or Ozempic, and slash GLP-1 agonist for the management of weight, insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, diabetes. So when I was putting together this program, I had two objectives on my mind. The first objective was about my, the future of my patients' health, especially if they are being challenged when it comes to losing weight. And, especially in women in the ages of perimenopause and menopause, they tend to have much lower metabolism rate, to the point that they are doing whatever they can do. They exercise the right type, the right frequency, the right intensity. They eat the right food, the right amount, and they deprive themselves sometimes. But as a result, either they don't lose the weight, or if they lose it, it's not proportionate to the effort they put into, or they gain weight. But all around, while they are waiting to lose this weight, the pounds are piling up, and they might be heading towards any of these chronic diseases like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, pre-diabetes if they don't already have it, arthritis, joint problem, cancer, Alzheimer's, and basically any type of a chronic diseases that can come from being overweight, that the names are too many. So that's why this program has, for some people, has therapeutic purposes, for some has preventative purposes. Another objective in my mind was that because of the effect that Ozempic or semaglutide or GLP-1s could have on the brain, especially when it comes to our addictive behavior. The effect is so potent that they're doing studies on semaglutide and addiction, like smoking and drinking. It's very fascinating. So that's why a part of my program is also focused on harvesting and using this quality of semaglutide to a good advantage, and utilizing it to our benefit, correct? And not just passing by it, being passive about it. And basically, when we are born, correct, as an infant, the pathways in our brain when it comes to eating and lifestyle wasn't the way it is now. We had the normal healthy pathways, and throughout of growth, because of our traditions, family tradition, cultures, social interactions, environmental factors, we develop a different unhealthy way of relationship with food and pathways in our brain. And we had plenty of reasons for those pathways, and plenty of time for those pathways to become deeper and deeper and deeper ingrained into our brain. So as a result, they have become a second nature to us, correct? So now semaglutide or Ozempic, it seems that it wants us to realize that, hey, this is not normal. The normal is this. The normal is the fact that you can look at the food that is not healthy and see it as what it is, and not wanting it, not having to go through all the internal battles about it. Just, this is not healthy, I don't want it. Or looking at your unhealthy habits as what they are, as unhealthy habits and unhealthy pacifying agents. To give you an example, one of my biggest downfalls or unhealthy habit has been when I'm watching TV. I had to have something to eat. The whole hand to food movement was a habit to me, correct? So then I realized, ever since I started on semaglutide, I realized that even the thought doesn't occur to me. It wasn't like, okay, I thought about going and grabbing something from the fridge and I had to fight it. No, the thought would not even come to my mind. And that's why I realized that, I really have to utilize this quality that I'm experiencing with Ozempic, and I have to be proactive about it. That's why one of the aspects of my program is really, again, as I said, using this aspect of Ozempic to the good advantage. So my program is the duration, I planned it for a year. And the reason behind it is that this medication, the GLP type of one agonist type of medications, are very potent medications, are effective, but also if it's not being used carefully, it could have consequences, especially over the kidney and the pancreas. And that is why slow and steady is safe and is effective, correct? So that's why I have it a year. Another reason is that, many patients could be losing, they're reaching their goal after 6 months into the program. So I use the extra time to really reuse it to cultivate the educational aspect of it and the psychological aspect of the whole program. So once they decide to come, it's a time for them to either wind down or come off it, they are not completely left behind alone and basically naked as far as tools. So they can carry on, correct? So that's why the duration is a year. And the first appointment is 1 hour. And I usually beforehand, I order blood test. That is liver function, kidney function, CBC, cholesterol, and hemoglobin A1C. I go over that. I go over the medication itself and how to draw it, how to use it, and the dosage of it. And then I talk, and it has 3 components. The first component obviously is the medication. The second and third components are educational. So one of the educational, which is the second, let's say, the component would be continuous glucose monitoring devices, such as Freestyle Libre. And I prescribe the sensor, and they get it from the pharmacy, and they put it behind the arm, and they change it every 2 weeks, correct? And they download the app on the cell phone. And the use of this, again, it is one amazing empowering and educational tool, because patients can see what food does to their blood sugar. The higher the blood sugar, the higher the insulin, the higher the fat depositing effect could be. Like, for instance, I had a patient that she told me, she thought like eating like a handful of grapes as a snack when she feels she's hungry, it's healthy. But then she realized how much it raised the blood sugar, and now she thinks twice next time when she uses the grape for that purpose. And if she has to use it now, either she has to combine it with something that has fat and protein, healthy fat and protein, to not raise the sugar that much, or eat less of it. But it's better not to eat at all. It's safer for the blood sugar. So this is one usage of this medication, this tool, Freestyle Libre sensor. Another advantage of it is that sometimes, we feel hungry. We feel, okay, I want to eat food, and it's not the time for us to have lunch, breakfast, or breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So when we check the levels, correct, it gives us like a visual, like a yellow banner with a number. And the minute we see the yellow banner, it means that we have plenty of sugar in our system, so we are not hungry. So we drink water and we move on. You know, we really, this way we are reducing the amount of the calorie that gets into our body. So that's why I really emphasize, and I have been using this for almost 2 years, and personally I cannot function without it. And because I do have a very strong family history of pre-diabetes, and I lost my mom to the consequences of diabetes. Also, when I started on Ozempic, I had pre-diabetes. So I can foresee myself, I am going to be on semaglutide for more than a year, and which I have been actually, but I'm using it less frequently. And then using the Freestyle Libre, the sensor helps me to get away with the least frequent usage of the medication. The third criteria is the journaling. Again, I talk about the pathways that we created because of our living circumstances, correct, of our life, and how Ozempic is showing us the way that it should be. So we have to really utilize it, and we have to cultivate that the gift that Ozempic has for us. And that's why I want my patient to journal the new thoughts that come to their brain. Like, for instance, again, my example would be when I become aware of the fact that I'm half hour into watching my movie and I'm not reaching out for, even the thought doesn't come to my mind to reach out for a food, I start journaling my thought, I dissect it, I analyze it. And it doesn't matter how many times it comes to my brain. I remember in the beginning, I would pause my movie, I don't know how many times, and I kept writing sometimes the same thing over and over and over again in order to really ingrain this new and healthy way of thinking and being, you know. And again, as I said, the changes in the brain is so fascinating that it doesn't matter how tired I am, how emotional I am, still I'm in control. Is fascinating to me. So that's why the third aspect is very important. That's why the next 6 half-hour visits that we have follow-ups, going over the sensor and the readings, and also the findings of the patient in their journaling is the component of it. And also obviously me deciding if we should go up on the dosage or not. So that's the program. The last part I want to cover in my video about my program is the cost of my program. The way, again, my program is 1 visit of 1 hour and 6 visits of half hour that could be done through the Zoom meetings. And they are every other month. That this time could be changing. The price of it that I put together is based on the average cost that other clinics are charging patients, even though it's not comparing apples to apples, because I have not found any clinics that would offer the same type of a program as I do offer. And most of these clinics are offering it based on the weekly visits of patients to the clinic, because these injections, if they are using the injections, are once a week, you know what I mean? And then, so they come to the clinic and once a week they charge them. And the price, I realized the 3 months price of the weekly sessions is close to my yearly visits. The difference is that though they're not offering, you know, I give my patients my cell phone number because it is important for me to walk my patients in between appointments. Questions come up with, especially with the sensor, the questions come up with reaction they might have to the symptoms, to the medication. And I have to be available to my patients to troubleshoot them, you know. And also another difference between my program and what is available mostly outside is the fact that my program does not cover the medication. Those programs usually do. but the cost of the medication is not that much. The actual pen of the Ozempic without insurance is upwards of $1,000, and if the patient doesn't have diabetes, the insurance usually doesn't cover them. And then but again, that's why I use the compounding pharmacy that are extremely cost effective. A vial of a 2 ml vial that could last anywhere from 4 weeks to 20 weeks, depending on the dosage, could cost around $200 as of today, because the prices might change, correct? So the cost of the medication is not that much. And so basically, I just wanted to give you a comparison between the services and the prices here. And again, this information are based on my, my research. And I hope that the information that I covered today on the video has helped answer your questions. And again, you can reach out to me if you have any other question. I'll be more than happy to answer. Until then, have the greatest day. Thank you.